Good afternoon. I'm Pastor Tony Mitchell of Consumed Youth at Fire City Church in Anniston, Alabama. I want to take this time to show honor to my senior pastor, Pastor Paul Goodwin of Fire City Church, and also Pastor Rod Parsley of World Harvest Church. Today I want to talk about God's love, a consuming fire. Hebrews 12:29 tells us our God is a consuming fire. So I just want to take some time to break that down and look at that just a little bit, because when we think about a fire, we think about destruction and devastation. But the Bible paints a completely different picture of that when talking about the power of God. In Exodus, when God comes down to speak to Moses, he does that through consuming fire of a burning bush. And the bush is not destroyed. There's no destruction there, but there is a great imagery of this complete power of God through this bush. And to me, that's beautiful, that something that powerful can speak to someone without there being destruction and horror. It's a beautiful thing to me. But let's look at this a little bit deeper. You've got different aspects of the fire that it talks about in Scripture that we can see through God's love. One is the purifying fire. Um, you know, he uses the fire of the hot coals to purify the lips in Scripture. We see fire today used in forming metal, and it burns out the impurities. Everything that's bad, it does get rid of, but it leaves this beautiful, powerful piece of metal that can be formed and used into what God needs it to be used by. Um, Other things that fire is used for is to sustain us. We use fire to cook food, and that it's that food that sustains us. Well, it's the same with Scripture. You know, Scripture is used as food for our soul, and that's what sustains us spiritually, emotionally. Through our days, through our weeks, is that sustainability of that fire of God through His Word. Um, Another thing that fire is used for is for our protection. We use fire to as like a weapon to keep away the bad animals and stuff. Like when you're camping out, you have a fire, and it's supposed to scare off all the bad predators in the area. Well, that fire of God, that word, that's also used as our protection against the evil spirits. We go into battle and we can speak the Scripture of God to these demonic forces, and they have to listen. They have to obey, because it's the power of God. It's that His consuming fire. Um, Another thing that fire is used for is to light a path. It puts off such a radiant light that when that fire is burning, you can see all around you. And when we have the power of God living inside of us, we are a light to a community full of darkness. And that is through the power of God and His consuming fire. So, looking at those aspects of the consuming fire, it just gives me such joy to know that I have God living inside of me, and I have that consuming fire in me that I can carry with me every day. And it does not destroy me, but it only makes me stronger. It only makes me better. It makes me a light to a community that needs God. So today I just want to ask each person, if you don't know God, if you've not been filled with that fire of God, please, I ask, just to look into your hearts and just ask God to come in and fill you with that same fire and consume your life and completely transform it and change it forever. Thank you, and I love y'all.